Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Curious Notion. I am a couple days away from hitting level 25, midlife crisis, pre-grown, full frontal cortex, however you want to word it. I'm about to be 25. My birthday's coming up soon, and the cool thing about having a podcast, digital creator, whatever, is this serves as a digital diary. And with me about to hit 25. I've been thinking a lot about a lot of things, and I thought I'd make an episode about it, really about things I've learned. You know, 25 lessons from failing, leaving, overthinking, loving people, chasing ambition, really trying to understand what it is to be a human being because I don't think none of us really know what we're doing. I think we're all just improvising along the way. And at some point, you hit that realization and realize that you're just another person trying to figure it out. You thought your parents had to figure it out, your teachers had to figure it out. Any adult role model in your life, you just thought, hey, look at them, they're adult, they got it all together. And then you become an adult and realize they don't, and you're just another one of them. But let's get started. So you are the product of your environment, but you are the result of your decisions. So I come, I'm Hispanic, first generation of a lot of things, first person to do many things. So you are the product of your environment is you are going to grow up and have a lot of things that are instilled in you because of where you grow up, who you grow up around, the lessons that come with being who you are in your culture and where you live, all of that. That is your environment. You're going to be instill so many beliefs and morals and ethics based on your culture. So for me, Hispanic, as a male, we're very much the whole machismo thing that is very common uh, among us. We are supposed to be tough and stoic and not show any emotions and no crying and a lot of that stuff. So I grew up around that. And it led me to be a certain way as an adult that I've had to now take away, not take away, but learn to adapt and change because you realize that in a country where there's all kinds of cultures and everything and people is your one way of thinking or your beliefs will sometimes not adapt very well. Uh, but you have to learn to change. So eventually, as you get older, you start to develop your own agency and your own beliefs. You start to question the things you grew up on, and you start breaking those generational chains of things have been done one thing or one way throughout your families. You now start to be that change. So when you become that change, is when you start to become the result of your decisions. I have changed so much of what my families believe because I grew up in that environment. I was a product of them until I build my own agency and my own beliefs and say, maybe, maybe that's not the right way to do those things. One of the things I can think of is money. A lot of my family members and people around me, really, friends within my culture and my ethnicity, don't invest. Money's actually seen as taboo. You really don't want to talk about money, how much money you make, any of that. That's very much like a big no-no. But for me, I'm actually very open about my money. I invest. I've been investing since I was 19. Uh, and I have no fear of putting out the things I do. I actually encourage financial literacy because it is very important, especially me growing up incredibly low income and basically not having very much. I am very open to, hey, like, this is what I do. This is the things that I read about. These are the articles I recommend. These are the YouTubers that I think are pretty good. But again, I'm not a financial advisor, so you should definitely go do your own research. And if so, contact a financial advisor as well. But that is one of them. You are the product of your environment, but you are the result of your decisions. Number two is who you are is what you will see. When I was younger, I was a very angry person. I was actually just having a conversation with my barber about this. Is when I was younger, he's just like, dude, you were just so angry. Like, I don't know what was going on with you, but you were just full of anger. So it allowed me to just see the world in anger. Who you are is what you will see is basically if it's the half glass full, glass half empty kind of person. So that is what that means. And we all know that person that is incredibly pessimistic, and you're just like, oh my God, dude, you're just so negative all the time. Like, can you stop the negativity? Right? When something happens, they're going to see the negative. An optimistic person will see the positive. But in the last like 2 or 3 years, I have become a different kind of person. Me and my friend were talking about this over Chick-fil-A salad, I think a week or two ago. And he basically, I read this book. It's kind of a picture book, but it has some quotes. It's the fox, the mule, the horse, and the boy. And I think the mole asked the boy is, are you a half glass full kind of person or a glass half empty kind of person? And the boy replies, I'm just glad to have the glass. And I reflected like, well, what does that what does that mean? And it really struck with me, and it's one of the ones I made notes on and put a bookmark, because that's kind of what I've become the last 2 or 3 years is, well, things are gonna be positive and things are gonna be negative, but I'm just glad that I have the ability to be here and even have a perspective on what things are. And I see everything as an open opportunity to just learn. Oh, so sometimes the glass is half full. Well, okay, good things are happening. Oh, it's half empty. Well, how can I shift it? How can I shift this perspective? I'm just glad to have a glass to even have the perspective. So I'm just glad to be living, to be able to be conscious enough to have an opinion as is negative, as is positive. So who you are is what you will see. So make sure that when things happen, you kind of really remove yourself from that equation, because you can be very reactive. You're a human being and you're going to react, especially if it's things you have a bias towards. So that is definitely a big one for me, especially when I was younger. I was very angry. Now I'm just uh, a lot different, and people are kind of shocked at it, and that's a good thing. So, but with that, it leads me to your internal world shapes your external world. So a lot of the things happen internally. And one of those things is the labels and stories we tell ourselves. So, number three is do not place labels on yourself. Humans are very dynamic. So, being dynamic is being able to adjust to your environment. Uh, as human beings, we are able to adapt and evolve. That's how we've stayed alive. Evolution means survival, it means living. So, with this is I very much placed a lot of labels on myself when I was younger. It was, I can't do that because of this. So, one of the reasons why it took me so long to even start my podcast was because I placed a label on myself. Oh, I am illiterate. Oh, I don't enunciate things very well. Oh, I suck at pronouncing. Your rate of speech is not that good. You have a crippling anxiety to talk to the public, public speaking, that just it's not very good. I think there's a statistics where people rather be killed than to publicly speak. There's like a research out there. Uh, I can't remember when I saw it, but I know I saw it, and the statistics were crazy. People would rather be killed or die than publicly speak. It is one of the major horrors or fears of people is to publicly speak, and having a podcast is basically doing that. It's doing the talking to everyone who will see it, and anyone has access to see it if you post it. So I limit myself by placing these labels on myself. This story I told myself, oh, you were made fun of when you were younger, and I still have these labels. And I just say, you know what? I have the ability to change. I might receive criticism. People might tell me, hey, just because you have a mic doesn't mean you should post things. So that in itself is labels that I'm placing on myself and others try to place. I was like, you know what? I'm human. I'm dynamic. I can change. I can evolve. Do not place labels on yourself because you can change. All right. Number 4, younger you was onto something with his interest or her interest if you're a gal. Um, One of the biggest things I can think of now is anime. So when I was younger, I when I was in middle school and high school, watching anime was actually you will make get made fun of. But animes are very powerful. They have great storytelling. They have great character development. There's so many life lessons. A lot of famous people now um, watch them. They encourage them. They are out there with their interest. A lot of influencers that are gym bros, gym girls, a lot of Olympic athletes, like you'll see them do like a little Gojo Satoru, like little finger for the Infinity Void domain expansion. So it is now grown in popularity. And what grows in popularity means society is accepted. It's like, okay, cool. You can now do this thing because everybody else is doing it. So it's kind of cool. But back then, when I was like 13, 14, 15, like over a decade ago, you watch anime, you were kind of weird. So with that, it means that you didn't really put that interest out there. Um, so now I actually learn a lot from animes. Uh, they have great stories, great character developments. A lot of them have societal things involved in there that just throw so much good information out there. And you're now able to represent that part of yourself because now it's culturally accepted. But back then you wouldn't, right? But now as an adult, you kind of start like, who cares? And then when you see other adults doing it and other people pushing that agenda, you're like, huh, I wasn't weird. It just wasn't famous enough. But now you kind of have some people that are pushing that, and then you're just like, so I was onto something when younger me had those interests. Uh, so younger you was onto something with his interest or her interest, and you should definitely revisit them if they brought you joy as a kid. Because as an adult, I feel like we lose a lot of our kid self trying to fit in into what society tells us to fit in, but you don't feel like yourself. So you should definitely go revisit those interests that made you happy when you were younger, if they're healthy. If they're healthy. All right. With that, it brings me to being yourself will attract people with similar characteristics. So when you are your genuine self, the people that are like you, that have the same beliefs, the same morals, the same ethics, the same interests, the same whatever, are going to gravitate towards you. They're going to say that guy or that girl is someone I can vibe with. So you're going to start attracting people that are generally like you. And you're going to build this amazing circle of people that you're going to now be able to hang out with and depend on them for certain things. You're going to not feel so alone when you're watching this new show, when you're hitting the gym, when you are doing all these things for you. You now have others to share that experience with. And it's going to be genuine experiences. It might be difficult to find those people if your environment has nobody like them. And that's okay, because it brings me to the next one. And this one is one of my favorite. I joined the military when I was 18. I think is the best decision I've probably ever made as an adult because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm about to be 25 and I still don't know what I'm doing, but I definitely feel more prepared because I've developed so many different things. And this brings me to number 6. Leaving your hometown is a major life hack. So we talked about environment, how you see the world, the labels you place on yourself, younger you, and people similarly to you. If none of those things are found in your environment, in your hometown, and where you grew up, leave your hometown. Okay. If it's not there for you, just Just leave. I understand. Trust me, I understand that inflation is high, cost of living is high. So many things are incredibly high cost of living. But if it's not making you happy, if you cannot find yourself where you're at, then physically change where you're at, because you're going to find people that are different out there. Pick a town. It's like Los Angeles. If you want to do acting, you go to Los Angeles. If you want tech, you go to Silicon Valley. If you want to be a finance bro, you go to New York for the stock exchange. Like, find where that thing you want is and go there, because you're going to be surrounded with people like you that have those competitive drives, that have those interests. Just leaving your hometown is a major life hack. Not only that, but you're going to be alone. That means that you cannot depend on anybody else but yourself, and it is only you who will come get you. And even then, when you have friends, when you have people that love you, at the end of the day, only you have you. And when you leave your hometown, you learn that incredibly fast, and you realize that that's all you got. So you have to take action. You have to pay the rent. You have to cook. You have to call the doctor, not your mom, not your dad. Dads suck at calling the doctor anyway. They hardly take care of themselves. Not your friend, not your partner. It is you. You have to call the doctor. You have to take care of you. When you leave your hometown, that's what you have to do. And that's why I think you have such a major life hack. I did it when I was 20, and just in 3 years, I came back near my hometown. I'm stationed an hour away from my hometown, and I have changed astronomically so much compared to the people that I live with, that I know of, to the point where I have lost friendship with some of these people because I no longer fit the same interests as them, the same criterias. I come in and I'm talking about investing and, growing whatever I'm trying to work on, and I have all these goals and all these ambitions, and they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna go to the club and yada yada yada, and we're gonna have a couple drinks. And I've done that too, right? That's incredibly fun. I'm only gonna be 25, and I lived fun. I traveled around different states and went and party and did all that stuff. But I get to see different things, different people, different experiences, other than just like I'm going to the regular bar in the corner of my hometown and gonna meet the same guy and the same regulars. And yeah, leaving your hometown is a major life hack. So once you change your environment, your perspective is going to change, and you're going to start growing. One way or another, you're going to grow. So that was number 6. I think that was a huge one, especially for younger people. Definitely, it's hard, but if you are obsessed enough with just changing, you're going to find a way, and leaving your hometown is definitely one of them. So with that, leaving your hometown is one of the best things that you can be at physically, but also in things when you start. So number 7 is starting from zero is the best place because you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. So I love this one. I stole it from Alex Hermosi, but it really resonates with me. And it has resonated with me a lot throughout my life, actually, because I never really reflected as much, but now being about to hit this midlife crisis of trying to figure out my life, because I'm about to leave the military after 7 years, almost 8. And I'm about to, go into a whole new world again, because all I've known is the military since I became 18. Is starting from zero is the best place because you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. So this one is awesome, because when you start from zero, you have the best place to be, because everything you gain from there is lessons, it's experiences, it's uncertainty, it's adventure, it's being stuck between the familiar and the unfamiliar. It's exciting. Not only that, but you really have nothing to lose. If I post this video, not if I post it, but when I post it, probably not many people are going to watch, but I got to practice the speaking into the camera, the setting up the content, the lighting, the audio, and editing the audio, and then editing the video, and then thinking about my thoughts, articulating, getting better at the thing I'm insecure about, because I'm getting more iterations and I have nothing to lose. right? Because I'm not losing time. I am not losing attention. I am focusing my attention on something that I am insecure about, that I'm going to improve on by doing this. So I have nothing to lose. People are like, well, you wasted money on your equipment and nobody's really watching your content. And who cares? Who cares? Who cares? I am practicing on the one thing that I'm highly insecure about, or one of the things I'm highly insecure about is speaking. English is my second language. I learned it when I was about 9 to 10. I learned it incredibly quickly because I wanted to defend myself against people that made fun of me. And I wanted to be able to communicate. And till this day, I am not very good at it, but I will practice. I will iterate and I will continue. And I have nothing to lose, but I have everything to gain. And that is one of the things with my podcast is I have nothing to lose doing this. I might look cringe, sound cornball, whatever. But at the end of the day, I have nothing to lose. When you start a business, because I eventually do want to start one, is I'm not going to have anything to lose when I start it because I'm going to gain experiences. I can work for somebody. I can provide them like, hey, like I did this, I failed, but I have bring all these experiences to the table. I dedicated this much time. And trust me, if you go out and seek, you will find someone who can make use of those skills. Or maybe it's not the right time for you, but now you have that experience. So starting from zero is the best place to be because you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. When you go to the gym and you just started, you have all the muscle to gain. All right. Injuries too, but that's why you do it properly. You look it up, you research, but you gain experience and you're going to get some gains. All right. You have nothing to lose. With that is, I think it's very scared to start because we fear failure. All right. These are going to be they're going to kind of contradict each other, but kind of hear me out. All right. I think this is like number 8, number 9, whatever. Don't fear failure. Failure is your biggest teacher. Again, back to the starting from zero. All right. Most people don't even start because they're afraid. I was afraid to start a podcast. It took me 6 months and my friend encouraging me, telling me it was not a dumb idea. But mostly I was scared to fail, scared that nobody would watch. So a lot of other things I didn't start as well because I was afraid of failure. But failure is your biggest teacher. If I posted something and everybody watched, I learned nothing from that. Just like, okay, everybody's watching. Okay, I guess I'll go post another one. It's exciting, but it doesn't have that like when you get beat down and then you win and you're like, yes, dude, I did that. I did that. So do not fear failure. Failure is your biggest teacher. When you touch the stove and learn that it's hot, you're like, oh, the stove is hot. Maybe I should not touch that. So that is one. With anything, failure is your biggest teacher. Change the way you view it. And then sometimes I don't think people even fear failure. I think some people actually fear success. What if the business blows up? What if I get the body at the gym? What if all this stuff? What if? I think it's so much safe to stay in the safe and familiar because it doesn't demand that much of us, but success does. Success demands that we change who we are to get there. Because if you want to get the body in the gym, you have to change the way you eat. You have to show up 4 to 5 days a week if you're that obsessed to the goal. And that requires uncertainty and sacrifice and questions. Does it even work? Will the episode blow up? Is me dedicating time right now going to make this the episode that blows up? I don't know. Probably not. But if I didn't do it, I would never give myself the chance to find out. And with that, I negated the sacrifice, the unfamiliarity, the uncomfortableness, and I stay safe in the familiar. I'm like, oh, it's failing, sort of, maybe, but I never found out if I made it because that required for me to do sacrifices and dedicate time and put myself out there again and again and again. And putting yourself out there on the uncertainty and the uncomfortableness is scary. But that's what success requires of you. It requires for you to do it a lot. All right. One of the things that Chris Williamson talks about a lot is the Rocky cut scene lasts 3 to 5 minutes, but your life is like 5 years. And you've been working on the business and you've been working on the gym and you've been doing all this stuff and nothing. Where's my Rocky cutscene? Where is my Rocky cutscene? So I think people fear success as well as much as failure, because success requires you to become someone that you are not, and failure keeps you in the safe and the familiar. So those kind of contradict each other, but they kind of go hand in hand. I've been trying to really like dig this one down, and I figure I put it on here because I've been trying to explain it because that's been me a lot throughout my life. But I've also pushed myself to be somebody else on uncertainty and making sacrifices. And another one where I think is not purpose. So all my life, I've been trying to find my purpose. I have no idea why I'm here. And I'm about to be 25. And I've realized that purpose will never just hit you. It's not going to find you. You have to find it. Purpose is in motion, because when you do so many things, you find out what brings you joy, what gives you purpose, what gives you drive, what gives you obsession. Try so many things that you're going to find purpose in the motion, and you doing so many things, because it's kind of like a checklist. You're kind of doing a process of elimination. Oh, I don't like that. I dedicated them my time to it, but nothing. It doesn't pull me. There's no pull. I have to push myself to do that. Purpose is in motion. With this is one of the other ones is try many different hobbies to find yours. I heard this thing that art is just without art. So find a hobby that brings you joy and do that. Don't do it for the sake of productivity. Don't do it for the sake of nothing else but just joy. It is your thing. It brings you life. Earth is just without art. I really love that. I have many hobbies. I have a lot of interests, and they all bring me joy. One of the newer ones is Warhammer 40K. So if you get to this timestamp and or get this far and you are a 40K fan, damn, welcome me to your universe, because I'm about to nerd the hell out on it, and I'm about to read on it and watch videos on it. And the Horus Heresy books are on my Amazon shopping cart, so definitely I will be there, and there will be videos on this in the future. But try many hobbies and find yours. I play video games, I read books, I go to the gym. I consider gym a hobby. It's a lifestyle, but it's part of me, and it's a hobby to me, and I've done it for so long, and I love it. I am picking up running. I did get knee surgery, and running absolutely sucks, and I'm pushing myself for many, many reasons, but it's working out, so we'll include it in the hobby. But some people fish, some people paint Warhammer stuff, some people draw, some people write. I also write. A lot of these things are a joyful thing to me because they explore the one thing I really, really love, and it's mindset, it's perspectives, it's learning. I really love to learn. There's a reason why my podcast is named Curious Notion, is because I love learning. I am a dynamic human being. I will evolve. I will learn. You can kind of see that I bring all this stuff together because all these build on top of each other. So try many different hobbies to find yours. And it leads me to one of my hobbies. Read all kinds of books. Productivity books feed the brain. Fiction books feed the soul. So I used to be a huge productivity guy. I no longer am just a productivity book kind of person because they can be a little dull, a little too much information. There's no taste for like, oh my God, this plot is fucking awesome, that a fiction books provide. And you can learn so much from fiction. That's why I watch anime, because you can learn so much from anime. It's fiction. There's superpowers and there's all kind of power systems. If you have Hunter x Hunter, you have Nen, and then you have Lord of Mysteries, you have potions, you have chakra, you have all this stuff. And it just adds taste and flavor to the lessons you're learning watching these animes. So read all kinds of books. Productivity books feed the brain. Fiction books feed the soul. Uh, Now, I mentioned investing, and one of the biggest lessons I've learned with money is a tool. How you use it determines whether it brings you happiness or misery. So, growing up poor, a very low income family, I'm very materialistic, sort of, not as much as I used to be, but money is a tool. It's a tool to get goods and services. All right. You pay somebody money, you can get a haircut, they mow your lawn, they, build you a house, whatever. You buy stuff with it. How you use money will determine if you're happy or miserable. And I stole this one from George Mack, but because it really resonates with me, uh, is when you buy a car, let's go with that because a lot of us need a car. You buy a car, do you buy a car out of necessity or want? Like you need a car, but a lot of us buy the car with the want of the car we want specifically. So I drive a Ford Fiesta. I barely fit in it. I'm 6 feet tall. And I'm a wide dude. Uh, I did not buy that car because I wanted it. I bought it because I needed it. And it solved so many different things for me by having it. Now, I could have brought misery on myself if I would have bought me the car I wanted, which when I was 20, I almost did. And I had no credit. I had no credit cards. I had nothing. So if I would have gone to the dealership and bought this car, the APRs I would have gotten would have been astronomically insane. And I was broke by then. I was barely figuring anything out. I was barely getting my feet wet with investing in stocks. And I definitely did not have the opportunities and the success I've had over the last 2 years. So money is a tool. You either buy the thing that you need because you need it and it's going to solve your problems and it's going to bring you happiness, or you buy the thing you want and you bring yourself misery, right? A lot of us want things that we cannot afford to impress people that we don't even like, all right? A lot of us want to purchase things to impress people, or a lot of us want to buy things that we can't afford to impress people that we don't even like. All right. That was me when I was younger. I wanted the latest brand new retro Jordans. I am a sneakerhead. I love shoes. But as I became an adult, I've realized that I did not want the shoes very much because the shoes look cool and I liked them. I wanted them because I wanted people to know that I had the shoes. I wanted them to be like, damn, he has the fresh new Bred 4s. And damn. Right. That's what I wanted. And in that, I would waste my little 15-year-old salary of being a server at a wedding venue that I got paid nothing. My little check will go on a pair of shoes and I wouldn't even wear the shoes. I just like post a picture on Instagram and be like, haha, I got the shoes, but like it doesn't do anything, right? Money's a tool. How you use it determines whether it brings happiness or misery. Definitely, I still have like 50 pair of shoes and I wear like the same three, one of them being my Crocs. The other one being my workout shoes. And then number 3 is my work boots for my uniform. Like I wear the same 3 pairs like damn near all the time. All right. And with that brings me to the other one is we are the key holders to our own jail cells. I just talked about money in a tool. We often put ourselves in our own jail cells. We are the key holders to the stories we tell ourselves. I can't do this because of that. Okay. But you hold the key. You can be like, fuck that. I'm going to go do it because I want to do it, because I have an obsession to do it. Do not put yourself in a jail cell by labeling yourself. You are dynamic. You can toss the key at any time. We are the key holders to our own jail cells. Do not limit yourself. Do not believe those stories. You can change your story. You have so much ahead of you. Regardless of what age you are, you can always start to live. And this is an awesome quote that I love is most people die at 25 but are buried when they're 80. I'm about to be 25. I hate the fact that quote states 25. I haven't even begin to live. I haven't even begin to live. And I think I've had so much fun living and I've failed a lot of things and I've done so much and I've gone through so many things and I haven't even begin to live. I'm like a 7-year-old adult. If I take into consideration that at 18 you become an adult, uh legally, I've only a 7-year-old adult when I turned 25. I turned 25 in like 2 or 3 days. And this episode is gonna come out then. We are the key holders to our own jail cells. I refuse to stay locked up. That's why I live home. That's why I try everything as much as I can. I'm like, okay, you want to skydive? Let's go do that. Okay, you want to bungee jump? Let's go do that. Uh, I've I'm not a good reader, but I'll pick up books. I read books. I read books. I read books. Don't place labels on yourself and then complain that you can't do all this stuff or not. All this stuff has not happened to you. Grab the key, unlock it, go live. All right. Growth means nothing if you never learn how to connect with people. So there's this Chris Williamson. He's obviously my favorite podcaster because he makes me feel less lonely. Like I'm an incredibly lonely person because of the person I am. I can connect with a lot of people and relate to them and speak to them. But because I have such an abundance of different things and interests and things that I do, it's really hard to find a one size fits all because I fit everywhere. But that also in itself is lonely. It's like having so many options because you're so competent. It's also its own prison because you're like, oh my God, I can do whatever. But it's also like, oh my God, I can do whatever. So what do I do? So growth is nothing if you never learn how to connect with people. And because I've moved around all my life and done so many things and I'm extroverted to a certain extent, but I'm introverted too because I get very tired of social interactions. But one of the biggest things that I struggled with because of how I was raised was how I tell people that I love them or care for them. I had this thought that I would not tell people I love them very much because telling them so much would devalue the word. It's like, oh, I love you takes value. If I say it a million times, that I'm taking the value away. So when I say it, it really means a lot. No. If you love someone, tell them humility every chance you get because you don't know when is the last time you're going to get to tell them that. Be a partner, be your parents, be your siblings, be your friends, your best friends, whoever. And I learned this one in the military, where I would never think that'd be a thing. Most of my male friends in the military, they all say, I love you when we're in a phone call. It is nuts. It is crazy because I would think these dudes would be the most masculine thing ever. They would be these like hardcore dudes. Some of them have deployed. Some of them, they've done a lot of things. And those are the ones that say, I love you the most. And I meet them for a couple of weeks and we get so close and then we get a phone call and they're super excited compared to somebody that I was friends with for over a decade. They don't even communicate with me anymore. Like I have so many people when I return hometown, they were like, oh my God, let's go. Nothing. They don't even text. They don't even call. But these dudes that I just like met for a year or two of my life, for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, these dudes still contact me. And every time they end a phone call, for the most part, they're like, all right, bro, I love you. Take care. And bye. And that's where I learned it's like, oh, I can give word like meaning to this word. I can say it every time and it can mean that. It can be what it is. Love and hate, they're strong words, and every time you say it, it can be that strong. So every time you love somebody, you care for them. Every chance you get, tell them. Now, if it's a romantic partner, be careful, right? Because that can be it can be hard, right? Depending on when you say it, it's not the right time, whatever. But if you know it and you've been with them long enough and it's that for you, tell them. Let them know every chance you get. And with that brings me to one that I've had struggle for a lot of times in my life is I didn't open up very much. I've I am very open, but not at the same time, and that made me think that I was just not incompatible with people, with friends, with people that I was potentially going to date or seeing. Uh, it's not that you're not compatible with people; it's that you leave the briefcase by the door, ready to leave. But what I mean by that is that you're closed off emotionally. You are always ready by the door to get out. Like if something gets too serious, you're just ready to bounce. That was me for a long time. I would be very much open to everything and be good. But then after it started getting too serious, like I was like, okay, I got an escape plan. Let me get out of here. Like it's not that you're not compatible with people. It's just that you weren't giving it all. And there's so many reasons for that. But if you're struggling to find somebody, friends, partners, it might just be that you're not fully committing. It's that you're just ready to leave every time and go back to your comfort zone. So that one was a tough one because it was looking myself in the mirror after I have had friendships fail and potential relationships fall through, and then relationships fall through as well. It's like, what was it? And it was difficult because I had to look myself in the mirror and say, no, dude, it was you. It was you, dude. It was your fault. And that's a tough pill to swallow. But at the end of the day, if you want to learn, you have to take accountability of looking through everything and thinking what went wrong. And for the most part, it was me. It was me. And while I say that, there's another one I learned. 25 lessons. And this one I've learned quite a bit. Don't believe people to be who they say they are. Most people have skewed perceptions of themselves. I've met people that say they're one way and their actions completely say they're not. One of the biggest ones I love is I'm such a communicator. I communicate about everything. The worst communicators ever were the first people to tell me that, like very early on. And I'm talking about potential partners here. Right? Their words will not match their actions. And then you get pissed about it. I know that for a fact. I get pissed about it. I saw it. I saw it. I tried to leave. But then they like wrote me back in with words and you ate the words up and you're like, oh, damn. Most people have a skewed version of themselves. All right. Sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it's them too. All right. But you just have to analyze on what those occasions were and who those people were. All right. But love and connection and relationships are very important. And at 25 years, damn, have I made so many fucking mistakes. With that brings me to friends. Tell your friends what's wrong. They want to help. Man, I am an overthinker, an overanalyzer. I live in my brain. I live in my mind all the time. Like I analyze everything. And with so much thinking, it just comes to you're always like in the dumps about everything because you're just living in your mind. You're suffering of so many things that haven't even happened yet, but you're suffering. You're causing that pain to yourself. But some of these things can be real. Some of these things is not just you overthinking it. Some of these things are really just that. And when it comes to that, tell your friends what's wrong. They want to help. All right. Sometimes we get asked, how are you? And you want to be like, I am not doing fucking good. I'm struggling, bro. Like, I'm struggling. But we just say, no, I'm okay. I'm all right. Another day, living the dream. But guess what? Nightmares are dreams too. So, I mean, I'm gonna put that out. I'm gonna put that out there. But tell your friends. Sometimes the best help you can get is just having a listening ear. It is somebody telling you, dude, I'm just gonna sit here with you. You're just not alone. And that feels good. That feels great. Actually, I've had that many times. My friends have had me rant so much because I can be very introverted if you don't know me, but man, if you're my friend, you're getting full on your divergency of just everything. You're cooked if you're my friend. because I'm super hyper. But then I shut off sometimes. But for the most part, like I'm super hyper around my friends. So a lot of them, they take me telling them, "Hey, I'm not doing good very well," and I want them to tell me they aren't doing good. I want them to tell me that. One of my guests, episode number 2, my friend Jones, he and I have these conversations. But damn, dude, when he leaves, I'm gonna miss him so much. But they like held me together so much. He doesn't even understand. And he watches these episodes. Hopefully, he watches this part. If not, I'm gonna clip it for him. But he tells me all his stuff, and then I tell him all my stuff, and we share this. We share all these problems together, right? And it's so awesome because I get all these things out of my head. I get to organize the laundry in my brain, and then I feel better. Just telling him, I feel so much better. Tell your friends what's wrong. They want to help. And I want my friends to tell me what's wrong for them. I want to help them, right? You just are too afraid of what they think. Me too. But guess what? I want to help them, and I damn sure know that they want to help me. Okay? So tell your friends what's wrong. There's this awesome line in book 5, Dark Ages, Red Rising. It's but what bonds sinners but their sins? But what bonds people that are sad but their sadness? Bond and sadness, dude. It's gonna feel less lonely. All right. But what bonds sinners but their sins? Same thing can go said for sadness, for loneliness. But what bonds loners but their loneliness? We all want someone that we can be alone with, especially us, like overthinking, analyzers, introverts. Do that. Another one, which is a lot of being human, is realizing everyone is just struggling privately. So being a broken man doesn't make you an outlier. It just makes you lonely, right? Being depressed and sad and all this stuff that I kind of see in the media where it's like, oh, I'm just, you know, messed up. You're not the only one. You're not an outlier. You're not the first person to go through those problems. I know it might seem like it. I know I've been stuck there a lot. You're not the only one. You're not an outlier. It's just going to make you lonely because you're going to just ostracize yourself. You're going to put yourself outside of everything. And then you're going to get more lonely. It's going to be more difficult to deal with these things. I understand that sometimes we just need to walk away from a lot of stuff. But we're social people. We want to be around people like us. So being a broken man doesn't make you an outlier. It just makes you lonely. A lot of us struggle privately. And having those people around us by being our genuine selves is going to attract people that we can tell our problems because they might be facing them too. So with all of that, I've also think about why I want to be happy so much. It's because I know the pain of sadness and grief and being just stuck in my mind. And I used to think before that being sad and all this was like a flaw. It's like, damn, I'm just a flaw, like human. I'm sad all the time and feel lonely all the time. But the flaws of human are also necessary to being a human being. We only appreciate happiness because we understand the pain of grief. We want to be happy because we know what it's like to be sad. And these things that I thought were flaws are actually just part of being human. They're the necessary components. Being a person, human or a human being, is just being constantly caught between the safety uncertainty and the yearning for uncertainty. Earlier I spoke about people are afraid of success because of what it requires of them, sacrificing certainty. Well, being a person is being stuck between, do I go explore over there because it might be exciting and I don't know what I might find, or do I stay over here because I know that it's safe over here? Being a human being is that. Do I start the business because the business might blow up and blah, 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 or do I just not start the business, don't tell anybody because it's safe? I don't have to do anything if I start the business. Do I go to the gym because I know I can get jacked and da 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 da? Or do I just stay over here and because, I don't want to go to the gym. It's safe over here. I don't have to go to public and go through the driving and wait the food and take on the supplements and all that. It just doesn't require much of you. But what happens if you go to the gym and then you get jacked and then you get do all these things and you look good and then you find the perfect partner and it's just like, The safety and the uncertainty. I love this one. I learned this one when I was 15 years old with Tony Robbins. His 6 Human Need TED Talk. It's awesome. You should go check it out. First of the human needs is certainty. We want certainty. We want safety. We watch a movie and we're like, oh my God, that movie is great. But then you don't want to watch it for so long. You're like, I hopefully forgot. I know the movie's great, but I hopefully forgot it. And I can taste that greatness of watching that movie again. Safety and uncertainty. That is what it's like to be a human being. And with that, we suffer more in our minds than we do in reality. I brought it up earlier. I'll bring it up again because it's on the notes. But a lot of things have stopped me because I overthought 10 different scenarios where they could all go wrong. And it hasn't even happened yet. And then the thing happens and I'm like, oh my God, dude, that wasn't that bad. We've all gone to a speech in school, in high school specifically. If you're specifically not an extroverted person and you go up there and you're like, whoa, I got to do the speech. Oh my God. And then you do the speech and you're like, that wasn't that bad. You go to the appointment, you go to the job interview, and the job interview it goes great, but in your mind, the job interview went horrible. You go on the date, you think everything could go wrong with the date goes great. We suffer more in our mind than we do in reality. Remove yourself from the equation. Tell yourself it's going to be great. Tell yourself you have the opportunity to just have a perspective. You just are grateful to have the glass. All right. I am a person that has a lot of things. I work full time as a service member. I go to school now. After I dropped out, I'm very, very close to getting my associates. Very exciting. I create content, obviously, because I'm tapping to this camera and this microphone, and I have a computer here with nodes and lighting and pretty blah, blah, blah. With that, I feel like most of my time, it's mine, but it doesn't belong to me. Like I'm doing all this stuff. I really enjoy it. Not really school. I've never been a school person. I actually fucking hate school, but I want to get my degree. I will be the first person in my family to get it. It feels like a chip on my shoulder. Yada, yada, yada. Anyway. But for the most part, when I'm working, when I'm doing stuff, it's all to a certain end. It's like, I got to go to school for the degree because of this. I have to go to work because, well, I'm in the military. And if I don't go to work, I'm going to see some consequences. Nothing too crazy. If you do it enough, they kick you out. Anyway. I have to go to work because I got to pay bills and all this. There's like something. It doesn't belong to me. This is where I get to the hobby part, where it just belongs to you. It's your thing for the pure enjoyment of it. Usually once I get to reading a book that I'm really enjoying, or when I'm watching a show that I'm really enjoying, it's really late at night because I'm doing all these things because all these things have a goal. There's no pure joy. So the reason you stay up at night is because you don't make time for yourself throughout the day. I heard Tony Robbins when I was like 15, and I'm going to quote all these people because all these people are so much smarter than me. They have so much more experience than me. I am just adding my experience to the things I've learned from them and applying them to my life, because all this is really just application of your life from what people have learned. It's usually really late at night when I do things that just belong to me for pure joy, playing video games, reading a book that I want to read, because I've already read for school and I'm just burned out, but I'm like, oh, I want to get to this chapter because this book is awesome. Make time for yourself throughout the day. That belongs to you. That's where the hobbies come in, right? Do the hobbies that you enjoy. And you probably won't stay up too much that late at night. Definitely, if you don't have time for you, you probably don't have a life. And you should definitely go get it, because you don't want to be the guy that dies at 25 and gets buried at 80 because you're stuck in a hedonic treadmill of doing all these things that are just not for you. They're for somebody else. It's a responsibility because you must do it, but there's no joy. It's just for that. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy creating content, but sometimes it's like, okay, I'm doing it because I want to get better at speaking, because I want to learn this, because I want to learn that. Like, I enjoy it. But there's just something about just doing something for the pure joy of it. Like reading an awesome story, watching a great movie. You take away, even then, sometimes I read books and it's very performative. Like, I'm like, what is the author telling me? Like, I'm writing down, making notes. So the reason you stay up at night is because you don't make time for yourself during the day. Make time for yourself. And then I brought this one up earlier, but I'll say it again. Art is just art without art. Find art that you poorly do for leisure. Reading, writing, working out, whatever it is, drawing, making music, playing an instrument, just whatever it is, find your time for you. All right. All this will bring you some peace, hopefully. And then there's a lot of stuff that I just yapped on about for probably an hour, I think. But, your identity, your environment, your self perception, and failures and risk and purpose, love, connection, and relationships, suffering, human nature, and peace and happiness and all that, it all costs something, right? The cost of chasing everything you want is being absent everywhere else. Because you left your hometown, now you can no longer be with parents. Because you wanted to change who you are, because you opened the business, now it's costing you to be all about the business, and you forget about your friends, and now you're in debt, and you're doing all these choices. Like, it's costing you so many things. Life is deciding what you are willing to sacrifice for meaning, for you. Every path is going to give you something, and is going to take something. To add more time to creating content, I have to take away time from hanging out with friends and playing video games or reading the books I want, from spending time with my partner, which I don't have, would take me away from chasing all these goals. Going to the gym is going to cost me doing all this, right? Can't go out, can't go drink, can't eat the pizza, can't eat that, blah, blah, blah. I'm locked in. Investing in stocks is going to make me not buy the sneakers. The cost of chasing everything you want is being absent everywhere else. You're going to be the absent son, the busy brother, the distant friend. Everything is take and subtract, right? To have more time somewhere else, you have to subtract time from somewhere else. We all get 24 hours. You cannot have your whole cake and eat it too. And with that, if you watched this far, thank you so much for tuning in. I will be 25 in a couple of days. I also will be traveling. I just came back Friday. I have so many things going on, and I just took some time to do this because the first one I did, I messed it up because I wasn't in focus. And it's just so much. And this was incredibly fun. I know I ramble a lot. It's kind of my style because I am insecure to talk, so I speed up and do a bunch of things with my hands and move around because that's just me. But thank you so much for watching. I'll be 25. I hope you made it this far, and I hope that you took away something other than just me taking your time away. But I'm going to be 25, and I don't know what the fuck to expect. It's going to be fucking scary. I'm leaving the military in a couple months. Whole new world out there, and I'm going to be creating content, so you're going to be part of the journey. And with that, I'll see you next time.